Welcome to TimeBolt office hours on November 10th at 9 a.m. at 2022. You are live with Doug. I'm missing my partner Quincy today. I'm here to answer your questions, check your workflows, and generally just make sure you get the best out of TimeBolt. And it looks like today on the line we have TJ Dowling. TJ, how are you doing?
How are you?
Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Just picked up your product a week ago, just getting into the groove with it. We do some podcasts for our company. What we do is we have a tool that we use in 3 WAV files. We have 2 people asking questions, and then we have our guest. And we're working on using your tool to get rid of the dead air, if you will, and then we drop it into Resolve after that. And I'm just starting to get into it and stuff and starting to use it. We're seeing anywhere between 4 to 6 minutes of savings with the dead space.
And these, how long are these files? What, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, they're only 20 minutes long. I think we had one session that was about 28 minutes, but we try to keep these podcasts down to less than 30 minutes for these.
And do you incorporate a video element at all?
No, not for the podcast, not at this point right now. What we end up doing is we take the WAV files, I bring them into Resolve, drop them into an MP4, and then I drop them back into your tool and take care of all the dead space and everything, and then we run it back into Resolve for that to get the final product. I'm trying to figure out if there's a better workflow that we can do with it and stuff.
Yes, and if I can't particularly help you with this, I'll have my partner. I'll have this recorded and I'll be able to get back to you very quickly if he has some additional ideas. But there's a feature called. It sounds like you have 3 different WAV files. When you combine them, are you flattening them into one track?
Yes, I drop them into one MP4 file because I sent a couple questions out to you guys, and I was trying to figure out if there's a way that I could TimeBolt with 3 WAV files in one and have them keep it all merged together and then do it that way, because my boss likes to do all the fixing of the audio ahead of time before he gives me the WAV files. I wasn't sure if there's a better flow, because like I said, we take the 3 WAV files, drop it into an MP4 with Resolve, kick it over to TimeBolt to get rid of the dead air, then we bring it back into Resolve, and I do use your XML feature with Resolve to work on that part of it.
You use XML. You currently use XML inside Resolve. So you're turning the WAV into XML files and then importing them back into Resolve?
Yes. Yeah, because I take the XML
the
file.
MP4.
Yep.
Okay, the MP4. And you've got 3 different tracks of people talking, and at the most basic level, you're looking to cut dead air whenever one of 3 people are not speaking. And you've got things that you're doing in this might be a good use case for our shift feature. Okay, I don't know if you've ever heard of shift. Let me find a screen here that I can. What we consider this is not, it's not so much multicam, it's multi-track. And like while this in Adobe Premiere, we have an extension that you just drop this in. It happens very fast. You sync right up in Premiere, but in Resolve and Final Cut Pro, the process is a little bit more involved. But like once you do it once, it's something that gets a lot easier, and it's going to keep you from having to create, compile an MP4 first and then bring it back into TimeBolt and then take it back into Resolve. You can actually cut based on, hold on just a second. Wait a second. You don't have a master audio track because there's 3 different tracks. When it comes, I'll have to ask my partner, when it comes to having 3 different audio tracks, when they're not on the same track, this actually may not be the best option for you. When you're recording, is there any reason why you have 3 tracks? Is there a way to, I think I lost you. Here, I got your audio.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute for some background noise. I apologize. I don't know. My boss who does the audio, he's a musician and he's very good with audio. He's got all the tools that gets rid of all the the echoing and all the type of interference that you get with audio tracks with people using the cameras from their laptops as opposed to the stuff that you and I have here. He likes to take it into the uncompressed form of the WAV files and do it that way. Now the only way that I figured out how to do it is I can't bring in 3 WAV files simultaneously into TimeBolt. I figured drop it in Resolve, create the MP4, bring it back into TimeBolt, run it through its paces, which, by the way, it does a really, really great job. I think I have to spend now maybe 4 minutes going into the final result from TimeBolt just to pick up a couple of extra, type of things. But other than that, you guys are rock solid on that. And then I drop it back into Resolve to do the final product. And then there's a couple of little weird things with Resolve that says, it can't receive those files because it's complex. So I have to create another timeline. But I figured out how to do all that stuff. I'm just trying to find a cleaner workflow.
The cleanest, what's nice is with the WAV files, I mean, unlike a 4K video, when you're rendering it out of Resolve into an MP4, I imagine that process is pretty fast, right? Because like the first thing, like TimeBolt runs obviously on like one master audio file.
Right.
And all the syncing of that, unless you're doing Adobe Premiere with the plugin, all that syncing has to happen ahead of time before throwing it into TimeBolt. I'm trying to figure out if you're syncing that in Resolve and you're doing your audio corrections, and now you've got one flat, one MP4, it's a flat file. It doesn't have multiple audio tracks. It wouldn't even matter because you're applying it to all of them. You've got one MP4, throwing that in the TimeBolt. And when you're exporting that, are you exporting, I guess you're doing the XML yes, you said you're doing the XML that you can contain the 300 kilobits audio instead of the 150, which we're limited at right now. Right. And so when you're importing that back into Resolve, which is pretty fast, I mean, it's instant, right? With your XML.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some errors. Can you show me, is there a way to show me what the errors are that are happening inside?
I can't today because I got to get set up for an enablement session in a little bit, but I can forward something over to you after this session in the afternoon to show you some of the stuff, like I said, because it comes back and I bring it into the final product from TimeBolt. I bring it back into Resolve. It says it's it's a complex file, and I have to do a couple of things in order to find the audio track and things like that, because it shows up red. I have to create another timeline, so it's kind of different.
You've enabled the tracks in Resolve once your XML, have you seen that where you have to select the whole thing and then hit enable a second audio?
I have to do that part too. And the interesting thing, Doug, is that I do have a license for Adobe Premiere. I was thinking about maybe running your product through its paces with Adobe Premiere as well and see what the differences are. Who knows? The workflow might be better for me for that. It's just that, we've been used to Resolve for a while now. So
I don't know if actually, because you're dealing with 3 different audio tracks and that are unsynced, right? Like TimeBolt would only be reading one audio track at a time, which would obviously not work.
Right.
Because what we had, as opposed to like multi, I don't know, I guess you call it, multi-track audio within a single MP4. We're unable to do multi-track audio.
Right.
Like it's kind of confusing. But if you using this in Adobe Premiere may not be as beneficial. What happens in Adobe Premiere is that if you can record one track, one master audio file, and now you've got just random times, like you just keep one audio, you keep the audio, you start it first and you end it at the when you stop recording, which should be your longest file, and then you're going through and creating stuff with your camera and multi-track video that is eventually that you can all sync on different tracks inside Premiere with their sync button, and then you have a JSON file, all because it's got that master audio done. There's another gentleman that there's actually a company called Riverside.fm. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, that's the tool that we use to capture our WAV files. Like I'm the producer there. I can talk to the people and say, okay, you have 10 minutes left, and none of my stuff gets recorded because I'm the producer, but we have the other 3 people on that tool. That's the tool that we use to get the 3 WAV files. Yes, and that would be great, because like I said, you talked to the tool that we actually use for the input of the WAV files. Then we bring it over to your tool, gets rid of all the dead air, and then we drop it into Resolve just for the final rendering. So yeah, that might actually help us out a lot. That would be great to get involved with you on that piece of it.
I apologize, my co-founder, he's moving, he's moving places right now. Otherwise he'd be here with me. TJ, that's funny.
Well, Cockroach Labs, the reason why our founder grabbed that name is because we're a distributed database and we're resilient like the cockroach. It's
beautiful. I think for as bad, like it's shocking. It's like it's got that stopping power, right?
Exactly.
What kind of labs are those? It's perfect. Well,
but I wouldn't mind getting involved with you on this piece of it, because with the other tool, that's part of our flow. Riverside Resolve to make the one MP4 file over to TimeBolt, then finishing it up in Resolve. And then that's our workflow right now. Anything to make it a lot smoother would be great.
And I do believe Paul has a solution for this, and it has everything to do with Premiere and the plugin as well. As soon as I'll actually ping him, after this, and I've got your email address, and maybe I'll just copy you, just have him make sure to let us know once he goes live with the video. Well, I'd like to get back with you. Maybe you could join us next Thursday.
Sure.
Just on the Thursday when the video comes out, and we can discuss how that fits in with your workflow and if there's any other further ways to optimize it for you.
Yeah, because I'm responsible for technical enablement here at Cockroach Labs, and right now we're just doing podcasts, but we're going to be doing probably other things as well, and that will include the video portion of it, not just audio. Definitely would like to make sure I have the workflow down for it, and have a nice framework I could establish that I could show everyone else on my team that if I'm not around, here's the steps that you do, and we get the thing rocking and rolling. So,
and may I ask you quickly, how did you it sounds like you're going to be moving upstream into video, which is great because it's something that TimeBolt's going to be able to grow with you on, right? But I didn't know, when you were looking for a solution, were you looking for cut out dead air? Do you probably found stuff from Audacity? There's
just basically cutting out dead air.
And was it now? Are you familiar with Audacity or?
I am not.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, it's just like Photoshop, right? I mean, you're kind of either, edit images in Photoshop or you don't.
Right.
But when your Audacity is just purely an audio tool that has, some of the dead air stuff in it, but it's quite a bit more complex. That's why I didn't know if you went through that process or, you were saying, hey, I would use some free tool, but I know we're going to be eventually doing video. And
I was looking at your tool because I like the ease of it and stuff. And there was a couple things I couldn't do with it with the free version. I picked up a monthly subscription, and I've been finishing my testing result now. And I talked to my boss about it. And it looks like what we're going to do is we're going to cancel this monthly one, and then we're going to order the lifetime version on our main enablement email address, and then keep moving forward with you guys. So we'd love to work with you moving forward, because like I said, we're just doing a 3-person podcast right now, but then we're going to be doing enablement sessions with your product, probably with the video as well.
Excellent. And it sounds I also heard that you said ums and ahs, right? This is unscripted, obviously, right? It's unscripted podcast material.
Well, we do have questions that we give our guest speaker ahead of time, so they have the questions ahead of time and stuff, and then we roll through it and stuff. And then sometimes we run into an issue where, hold off, okay, let's start again here, and then I go in there, and that's where I told you where it takes me like an extra 4 minutes to go through that couple of pieces of that and stuff. But when I was doing it in Resolve without your product, man, it was 30-minute session with 3 speakers. It was a long day.
Yeah, it was a long day. Yes, no, definitely. All right, TJ. Well, it was great talking to you. And can I help you with anything else?
No, not at this point. Like I said, I'm just going to remain silent and listen for a little bit more. I got another 10 minutes before I have to do my enablement session. But I'm just going to sit back and listen. Doug, thanks again. I look forward to talking to you further.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And Ethan, let's see. Ethan, we had you first on the line. Is there anything in particular I can help you with today?
I just saw this happening here on my email, and I thought, I have not used TimeBolt yet. Thinking, let me see what tips I can pick up. Maybe I'm the wrong person to be asking because I'm wanting something from scratch. But I suppose I do have one question. Is if I'm recording my audio and my video separately, I record my video directly into Camtasia, and then my audio into Camtasia and my video into an iPhone, and then I combine them into Camtasia and sync them up. Can I do that syncing up in TimeBolt before I pull it into Camtasia?
Wow, you record audio in Camtasia and video on your phone, and then we wouldn't be able to sync those 2 files up. Why are you having to sync up audio and a phone video at the same time? Can you tell me about what type of content you're creating?
I'm creating training videos. The videos of myself a talking head, and I did have by using a DSLR, but I found the iPhone video just much easier and accurate. So it obviously produces an audio file as well, but it's not of the same high quality. I've got a Samsung, I don't know what they call these, special, I think they're like Blue Yetis, that sort of microphone. It produces a really high quality audio. That's why I've got 2 separate files.
Okay, let me ask you. Okay, I also have an iPhone, and I also have a similar setup to you. Okay, I use OBS or I use TimeBolt itself. Okay, and there's a screen recorder beta. Okay, you click that open. Now that the caveat is I can only record my one screen, okay, to screen one, but just for the purposes of demonstration, like right here, this is where I actually select my audio source. That's where you would select your audio source. Are you like talking, did you say a mic on your computer?
It's a USB mic. So what you're saying is instead of recording in Camtasia, I could record my voice into TimeBolt. Have I got you right?
Both. You could record both. Now watch this. You'll be able to, I'm showing you, you can select any audio source that works. You can create an aggregate device. Do you have like a Mac?
No, I'm using a PC.
A PC. Okay.
A Windows 11 PC.
Windows 11 PC. That'll actually be easier. Okay. And just because you don't have to create an aggregate device and stuff like this. Now, see this camera viewport? Hit open camera view. And I don't want to crash my, I don't know how many cameras my system, but see how I can select any one of these cameras right now? See, I can put this is the second me.
Okay. And I put my iPhone camera directly into TimeBolt.
Yeah. But yes, you can put your iPhone video directly into TimeBolt. You're looking at two of me, I think, right now, aren't you? Yeah. And
that's fantastic. Would that be like an Epoch Cam? Would I be using
it? Exactly. See, check this out. I got Epoch Cam too. Okay, but I don't have my iPhone set up because I just got the new Sony SV. If I may,
because Camtasia doesn't read Epoch Cam, whereas you say TimeBolt does.
Oh yeah. No, it'll just be another video source. Okay.
Oh, fantastic.
And then this is the thing. The reason why this isn't beta is because we got the bare basics done, right? Like you can pick any audio source, pick any video source. What is missing that we're all about speed. What's missing is we want you to be able to capture two screens, obviously, or three. Right?
I'm not capturing screens. So no screens, only voice and video.
Okay, you're just going to be like that, right? You're just going to be like, it'll just be only voice and videos. All you do is click this, and on your other screen, it'll open up into a full screen, video.
Oh, fabulous.
And then what you're going to do is, you obviously, once you get your audio source, hit start recording, and you'll just have we want to be able to have this overlaid on top of the actual video that's recording, then don't have to look through a window to stop it, right? There's just the little tiny things.
Yeah.
This works well. And then at the end, after you hit stop recording, you'll know where you're saving the file, and then put it direct into TimeBolt. You won't have to even mess with Camtasia.
Oh, wonderful.
You don't want. And
then I'll and then once this is edited, etc., I'll pull that file into Camtasia, and it'll be linked, automatically synced between the two because it was created together.
Yeah, it'll be video and audio. Yeah, it'll be a single MP4 that is saved out of TimeBolt. You take that, take that single MP4 that's got your video and it's got your audio already together, and then you run that through TimeBolt, and now you can do you do anything? What do you do inside Camtasia?
Oh, I do all the editing of what I create, which will match up with my voice. I'm training, I'm doing some teaching training of maths, actually, which are, there are a whole lot of visuals, which I create. So it's the other element. Okay.
This is what is going to be important for you. Okay. And obviously, practice, just do a test file, right? Just talk a little bit and just kind of get the workflow down.
Sorry, Doug, I've come in very unprepared. I just happened to have walked into my office. I saw this was on. This stuff you're showing me now, is it possible that it'll be in a little captured and that you can send it to me? Or sorry to.
You're not viewing video?
I'm viewing now. Obviously, I'm viewing the screen now, but
okay.
It's my mind is like, you're showing me stuff here, and I'm thinking, I wish I could capture all this.
Oh yeah, this is actually, I'm saving these. I save these and I'll post it to YouTube. This is one of those that I'll post to YouTube. Some weeks, it's just Quince and I talking, but this one I'll definitely post to YouTube. You'll have that. It shouldn't be more than a few days. But did you saw how to open up TimeBolt? So this is what I'm saying. When you open up TimeBolt and you the first thing you want to do is capture your MP4 video, okay? And then
sorry, Doug, do you mind going back there? I've never even opened TimeBolt. I bought it and I'm thinking, I want to get onto this. Can you just go back to that spot, please? Sorry.
Let me see here. Here we go. This is TimeBolt, right? This is actually one of our office hours. A couple weeks ago, right? This is one of our office hours. Your default settings are going to be 0.7. When you open up your file, this is where you want it. Okay. Don't change the default settings. Do not do anything.
This is what it'll look like when I open it up.
Yeah, when you open it up, it's going to be -35. And since you're talking into a mic, it's going to be very simple because talking into a mic, get good, clean audio. -35 and these different settings are going to work just fine. Okay. And what I was saying inside, you can click this, see the screen recorder beta thing right here?
Yeah.
All you do is click that. Okay. When you click that, this thing pops up. Select your audio input, which will be your mic, and then open your camera viewport, which this thing opens up. Okay. And then you select your camera source, which would be your Epoch cam. You could probably do it if you're doing it wireless or with a FireWire cable. It doesn't really matter. And then you just hit start, increase this to full size, right? And hit start recording. Obviously, I don't have an Epoch cam. I've got this, right? And
That's
then
fantastic.
hit start recording. Once at the end, after you hit stop recording, I'm not going to do it here because I got 50 million things recording. I don't want to screw one of them up. What happens is that once you hit stop recording, after you hit stop, you'll save your file. And then what you're going to do is take that file, okay, that you saved. And since you're still going to want to do stuff in Camtasia, you're going to want to start with number 2 before you drop it into TimeBolt. Okay. I'm telling you this because this is a process specifically for Camtasia so that you can get a very defined cut up timeline in Camtasia versus just dropping an MP4 in there. You could just open up TimeBolt right now, after you save your file, just drop it in and cut out the dead air, right? Click. And you can, I would suggest that if we're going to do one thing, make sure you watch this video. See these little check marks here? These open up little videos on how to do
This is how to rapidly edit a timeline using 4 quick keys. The key S creates a split. O turns scenes on or off. L allows you to preview faster. Use P to punch in and punch out. First, set your preview.
That'll take you through, these are quick 1-minute videos, but the quick 1-minute video is going to show you how to quickly go through and edit a timeline. Right? You could just click around up here and that's what you'll do. And you'll be like, oh, what's this button do? And you do kind of this thing, right? But I'm for a file with a linear editor like this and into Final Cut. You shouldn't even have to be clicking around in Pro. You can hit the S key and it'll, on the timeline, and you can turn things on or off with O, right? So you can, cut in the middle of scene words. You can punch in, punch out, which actually will for your punch in and punch out. I don't know, if you want to create that motion between when you're talking and, it kind of jumps to a different perspective of you, but that's how you do this very quickly inside TimeBolt without having to learn, you're not doing any keyframes in Camtasia. You're doing more the arrow things, but this is still faster because you can do it all on your first pass.
Just coming back, you're saying I should first, so I do this together in TimeBolt, then I draw that into Camtasia first. Is that right? And then I bring it back into TimeBolt. I might just be missing something.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. After you save that MP4 file, this is it has to be done this way. It's only this way with Camtasia because of how their proprietary project files are. Okay. But it actually overwrites one of the project files. So now, once you have your videos saved, you're not going to have to worry about syncing and all that crap because it's already going to be done. Now you start with number 2, right? And start a new project in Camtasia and follow these instructions. If there's also, just so you know, we have gone through this process, okay? We've gone through this process in depth on our YouTube channel and on multiple times, in these live office hours. Okay. See, this basically all about Camtasia, right? You don't even need to kind of wait. You already know how you're going to.
Okay. I just want to quickly.
That's good, right?
To this.
You should have all the information you need to really streamline your workflow, capture the video, learn how to use the few quick keys. Okay. And then you're going to obviously start here before you put that file back into TimeBolt.
This is brilliant. Because the one problem with Camtasia is that it can't read the iPhone directly. It doesn't read Epoch Cam. Yeah.
Even if you record everything in Camtasia, it still has some weird proprietary codec that off syncs. It makes things out of sync unless this specific process is followed. We just kind of cut off the whole how to keep things in sync right off the bat by changing how you capture.
If I wanted specific help, sorry, I haven't even been onto your website. Is there a place I can go to and post a question and then you guys?
Typically on YouTube, if you've got a question underneath, we have a community. The preferred place to communicate with us would be the community.
Okay.
There's all these here. Let me show you. We've got our community forum. Also download, and so you can check out.
Okay.
So you'll be able to really get in. These are all Camtasia users, and any type of scenario you've run into, we've already run into with these files before.
Did you search for Camtasia in the community there?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's this. I'm just showing you some results, but
Jeepers, you've made my day. You've made my day.
excellent. Well, Peter, if you want to join us in a week or two and just kind of show us what your workflow looks like, maybe we can, further refine down from there. And I could teach you a little bit. We've got some neat features inside TimeBolt. Like I said, punch, speed up, silences. I understand it's on us. We keep adding features to the software that are really important, that do a lot of cool things, but it's been difficult to keep everybody updated on how to use these features and that they even exist in the first place. We're working on a completely new website, and I'm working on basically like a shopping cart design where, every new feature, it has links to every possible place that you can learn about it. Whether it's the YouTube, the community, all those places, we're looking to get it all consolidated in one central location. The information's easier to get at. Well, I've got these are all the, this is all we've got, and I've got this. I'm just working on now creating a repeatable design, and getting all this stuff uploaded. Right. But you'll be able to see that all of the export options, and we'll just put it all in one central place, like I would like to have it as a user.
Fabulous. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Peter. And Dr. Faith. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I am having an issue with my audio becoming unsynced. I have a workflow of I film and upload my footage. And then what I wanted to do was to do a little bit of work for my editor, in which I can remove all of the dead space. And I didn't even know you guys had punch in and out. So that's awesome, because we do that anyway. When I export it, and I haven't exported it in XML file, that might be an issue. But when I export it into an MP4 file and send it to him, which he's in the Philippines, on his end, when he's going through it on Premiere Pro, the audio becomes unsynced. And we've been trying multiple different ways to make sure like the frame rate is correct on both sides, whether I'm exporting it, what I filmed in is make sure I'm getting exported with that. But we can't seem to figure out how to resync that audio, or why it becomes unsynced over time.
I don't, the way I would need to understand, I would need to be able to, do you have it doesn't need to be like a 30 gig file, right? If you have a file that's like, hey, I'm going to talk for 2 minutes, right? And leave some dead air, and you send that to me the exact way that you record, I'll be able to, because I don't know if you're recording with the variable frame rate or a constant, variable frame rate is the only reason that it would get unsynced.
Okay, gotcha.
The only thing that we can't diagnose inside the software is I understand. I hear an error occurred. Well, what the hell does that mean, right?
Yeah.
We don't know how to diagnose it. We can't say, oh, it's a variable frame rate inside FFmpeg. We can't figure that out. So I just need to know how you're capturing it. If you used, I can almost guarantee you, if you use something like Handbrake or something like that and re-encoded it, which re-encoded a constant frame rate, it would stay synced. But how you're capturing would probably be the place to look. Is it how do you capture one more time? Can you explain your workflow?
I have two Sonys. One is the ZV-1, and then I also have the Sony A 6400, and it's the audio's already captured within the camera. We don't do any extra audio sync that direction. It's quite literally just filming and then uploading to TimeBolt, exporting from that, getting that MP4 and sending him that footage. And he edits on his side with Premiere Pro, and he says as the time goes on, the audio becomes unsynced. Not that it's unsynced right when he uploads it. It's as the time goes on, it becomes unsynced.
When you upload it into TimeBolt after capture, I also have a Sony ZV-E10. And I don't have the A, but when you capture it and you upload it in TimeBolt, you're not seeing video preview, are you?
I'm not, no.
Yeah. it sucks. That's literally the camera I've got, right?
Yeah. I was actually kind of concerned about that, because I was just am I supposed to be seeing video? Because I looked at all the videos online and I was I don't see videos. I couldn't figure out why that was.
And even in this, I'm completely transparent. I have this thing called any gotchas, right? I don't like getting into software and having some gotcha, right? Well, the only that we got when it comes to TimeBolt is that there's no video preview for H.265. Okay. No video preview for the Sony XAVC codec, right here. And what I end up having to do is, and what I end up having to do is just drop my raw file, sometimes 14 gigs, right into Final Cut Pro, and then render it out as an MP4, as a new MP4.
Oh, okay.
That. once you do that, you'll be able to see the previews so that all your punch in and your effects and stuff like that you'll be able to see like what you're doing.
Okay.
And that will export with XML. And you can either render, but I'm still not understanding why it's going out of sync with the as a raw file.
Yeah, I also don't know, but I was thinking, I haven't tried it yet, but I was thinking about exporting just as an XML and sending it to him that way, because I haven't tried that to see if the audio stays synced. We kind of just we stopped trying to use it back in August just because it was taking too much time to figure out, and then he had to keep resyncing it, and it was just kind of going back and forth. But we'll play around with smaller clips instead of trying to do full videos, and I'll definitely try to do the MP4 rendering.
Yes. And like, that's what I like. Sometimes I have somebody help with my videos too, right? Like I do dog park videos, stuff like that. And what I'll do is I can do the XML and get the timing and all the timing right before I send it up to them. Just send in that raw file and then the XML. And that's what they're using to edit inside Final Cut or Premiere. But yes, the XML, I think will solve some of your problems. Rendering, I mean, I hate to ask, but you just render it out in Final Cut Pro first, and then just delete your main source file, save some room on a hard drive, and then just use that new MP4 that's re-encoded for your XML for editing inside TimeBolt. I mean, okay,
that'll work. I want to be able to take advantage of the software because it does save a bunch of time, especially when it goes through my hands. But all right, I'll try that out, and if I have any questions, I'll come back.
Yes, Dr. Faye, I want to work with you. I want to make sure that we get this taken care of for you, and really, if you're going through pain, we want to go through pain too, right? Because that's how things get solved.
Exactly.
It's very difficult. Like, believe me, like preview is everything to us, and there's based on the current platform that we use, it's very difficult to make that work right now. But I know that's probably one of the most important things we can be doing. Are your videos? And last question: are your videos typically scripted or unscripted?
Oh, I do a cooking channel, and then I also have some more or less scripted channels. Not as much anymore. When I do my programs, then it's more of the scripted content. Okay,
you do a whole spectrum of content, whether scripted, unscripted. We've got be on the lookout. We're working on Umcheck right now, and that should be coming out, which is filler word detection, and where, like, for your live Zoom calls or anything that's unscripted or conversations you may have, you can go through and check for all the filler words, those types of things with the transcription. It'll automatically be detected in TimeBolt and cut out. I wasn't sure if you had a need for something like that or not. But
fabulous. I'll be looking on the app for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And see how this for punch, just so you know, this is how simple this is. You can right click, okay, but no one wants to do that. Right? You right click, you can select the focus area and the zoom amount, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Or you just hit the letter P, right, on your keyboard. And if you want to change the focus area, I'll zoom in all the way. When it's focused on the left, I hit my option key and left and up, down arrow keys.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? So yeah, frames, nothing like that.
That's fabulous, because that's something that I do for between clips, just so that we can keep the dynamics of moving the camera. But it does take my editor quite a while, and I have to keep telling him to come in and out. So that'll be fantastic to be able to use. Is it just when you punches in and out, is it just the whole clip that is highlighted, like the entire green clip that's punched in and out at that, or how do you distinguish between when it cuts in punches in and out? Well,
you can, yes, it'll just be on a clip by clip basis. Let's say you've got two different scenes here, right? But what I'll do is I'll put a split there, right? And so now I can have two different use cases. Let me grab Ethan. Ethan's here, and we'll see how it jumps because of that split.
Oh, I got you. Okay, cool, perfect. That works great, actually.
Yeah, or you can.
Oh, that'll save so much time.
You like straight up. And then, since you make content, I also wanted to show you one more thing. We have a feature called markers that we come out with. And what markers do, there's sort of two different functions. Do you make any like live Zoom calls like this? Do you have any like live conference calls like this? One-on-one, two-on-one?
Not at the moment, but I will in the future. I don't know if I will edit them, but if I do, it's good to know.
Yes. And if you edit, let's just take a Zoom call, for example. Like, after I get off the Zoom call, I go through, cut out all the dead air. There's some, in between banter that really isn't important. And then, or when I'm like looking for something. And then what happens is like when a new person comes on, I want to, we're starting a new topic. Now, as opposed to after I cut up the whole timeline, right? Yes, I'm saving a lot of time doing it inside TimeBolt. I render the video, but now what do I have to do? I have to now go back. And after I've already watched it once, right? I now have to go back and rewatch the whole thing to find out where the differences in topics happened, right? if that becomes a point to you, if you're talking about micro topics and you want to chapter the content inside YouTube, what with this, as you're going through your best scenes, I can hit the letter M, okay? And that stands for marker, and it actually creates a marker on let's say that was the start of a new subject, right? Or the start of a new subject. I hit M as you're going through. Basically, what I do is I put this at 1.5x speed anytime I do it.
That's the thing. I just want to let you know.
And now I've got 3 different markers. Let's say there's 15 of them. Now what I can do is I can go down here and hit download markers text file. And what this is, and this, I mean, I made it's cool making this first. This is a copy paste situation. Now, what you're going to be able to do is just copy and paste this direct into your description on YouTube. And because what we've already done the math, obviously when you're, this isn't going to be 6 minutes and 30 seconds. The first marker is going to be 6 minutes and 30 seconds. There's a bunch of stuff that's cut out in between. Now all of them are lined up. And the last piece of this, we're going to make it to where you can double click this yellow line. Again, this is for YouTube, and type in a title. Okay.
Oh, lovely.
So I swear to God, like after I get done with a Zoom call like this, it's all done in one pass. I'm doing my punch in, I'm doing my markers. I never have to watch something over again. Right. And like, you're like, oh yeah, that's where we started talking about this. There's no notes or anything. You just type this stuff in, and our end state with these markers are going to be just for the YouTube portion is having it fully have the text there, and it'll just be all first pass. Now, the second thing, and the reason I wanted to ask you about, if you make a bunch of different types of content, the second thing that you can do is now do you make stuff for Instagram, for TikTok? Now that's not something I personally do, but I know it's very popular. What we can do inside TimeBolt, these markers, if you don't think of them as like YouTube markers, you can look at them as highlight reel markers.
Yeah, I'm trying to do repurposing. I'm trying to cut down videos into concepts. And in that way, the workflow that I'm going to be doing in the future is that I'm going to have a VA kind of rough cut edit things. And then my copywriter will come through and actually pull out the pieces that can be repurposed to like Instagram or TikTok, and then sending it all to the editor afterwards that's already chopped up. And then he can make his videos, and he'll know exactly what timestamps to be able to pull out the information for the highlight reels.
Interesting. I'd like to propose, like the markers, when we actually make them to where they can export with XML, right? I'll like, that was just a text file with XML, like having some type of marker delineation that might be of importance to you. But for right now, again, because like the good thing about having TimeBolt is you can control the timing. Like timing's everything when telling a story, and you have your own specific ear that maybe your editor just doesn't, when they're adding versus like what's important to keep. Well, what you can do now is, you can imagine you went through this 20-minute call, and they talk good about your services, or whatever you find is important. Now what you can do is you can do keep only mark cuts. Okay, a warning's going to pop up. It says make sure you save your timeline. I've already saved it and stuff. Okay, because you're only allowed like 10 actions before you have to reload it. But you can just do keep only mark cuts. Right. And so now.
Oh, that's cool. You can export just the marked cut that you can make multiple videos.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Marked. Damn, okay. Yeah. Now
it's already ripped off the MP3 and it's sending it up to the server to do the automated transcriptions. It's uploading now.
Oh, that was the last one. Okay. And what you do is you're able to actually just keep only marked cuts, and then go through and save it as an XML file. Right. So you can save a new XML file with just, your markers for the highlight reel.
Oh, that's cool. That'll save so much time. I use frame.io for helping to do the communication between my editor and I. And then once everything is done, he does it on the Premiere Pro side, and then we export it. I have another editor that's actually using kind of like a Canva. It's called FlexiClip, and I got it on like a lifetime deal. But it's very much similar to just being able to drag and drop titles. It just is very, very quick, and you can kind of reformat video quickly, and then you can keep more or less templates of how you want your videos to be run. So you can quickly get your branded stuff out, but you're limited to 1 gig of each clip. It's been becoming an issue of just trying to do space. And then I'm like, well, we could try Handbrake, but then it becomes a problem with transcriptions. And anyway, we're still figuring it out.
There's if I may make a recommendation, who I use is ClipScribe. I mean, like, we're about ready to get on in Umcheck. And the reality is that we are pulling in transcriptions. It's going to be a paid for, like, we're going to do on an on-demand service where you're not you don't need to transcribe everything at all times, right? This would be something that's like kind of pay as you go. But we don't, at this point in time, we're not trying to get into the visual creative part of presenting transcriptions over the top of the video. We think it would really kind of dilute and slow down the editing process. And instead, like what I do is after I use TimeBolt and I get the timing right, get all the timing right, then I throw it up into ClipScribe, and this does all the different formatting. It'll, use the transcriptions, and it becomes, once all your dead air is cut out and all the little like pieces, these tools become much easier to use and calibrate with accurate transcriptions.
Thank you. I'll look into it.
You bet. Is there anything else that I might be able to help you with, Dr.?
No, that did it. I'll just have to figure out, more troubleshoot the audio, but we'll see what happens. And if I have any problems, I'll come back.
Yes. And if there's any problems, or you would just want to send me a piece that of the audio, I understand that you're saying over time it gets out of sync. If there's a file location or something that you could send me, I'll have my co-founder and I take a look at the file. I'm not having that problem with my camera, and I'm just trying to understand how this desync is happening.
Same. Except I'm not in Philippines. That's even harder.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we'll have. Yes, I think the fix. I know the fix for that. It's an extra step is putting it inside Final Cut or Premiere and just rendering it out. Just
get it out of the H.64.
Yeah,
got it.
Unfortunately, until we figure that out. But then that should definitely fix your problem.
I will try that out.
Appreciate you choosing TimeBolt. Have a great day. Hi, Ethan.
Hello. Yeah, I have the same problem, and I was exporting it in MP4 and importing it in MP4. I don't know. Like, it's just if you do a cut, it'll like desync the audio.
Are you have a Sony camera?
No, it's just screen recording.
Okay. What kind of screen recording?
Just like gameplay or whatever.
Okay, but not like an OBS?
Yeah, OBS.
Okay. You're bringing it into OBS and not an MP4. There definitely shouldn't be any problem with OBS.
It's fine. If I export it in TimeBolt, it's still fine. The ending is still fine. It's if I import it into an editing software, make a cut, it'll whack up all the audio.
So are you saying if you alter the source file in a
editing software, like if I make a cut to it?
If you alter the source file in an editing software and then try and apply the cuts from TimeBolt, it messes it up?
No, I'll save the file in TimeBolt as MP4 or whatever. Then I'll just put that into the editing software. And then after I export it from the editing software, it messes it up. That's really weird.
That shouldn't be happening. I mean, if the video is being saved, the only way that there's a sync issue that ever happens between this is if it's the H.26 the Sony XVID, or it's you're recording it as a variable frame rate, okay, as opposed to a constant frame rate.
Is there any way to know if I'm doing that?
Yes. Do you have the file on your computer right now? Can you share it? Share your information?
I've got, all the files are the same.
When you go to, if you would throw one of them into TimeBolt and then look and see, hit the export XML option, and you'll be able to see, I want to see what the frame rate is on the back end. It'll say it right in the file extension.
Okay. Click XML.
Yes. Export XML.
It's MP4 60 XML. Okay.
But 60. Yes. Okay. You have your frame rate of 60. That sounds right. I've just never had a problem with OBS ever.
I know. That's why I was like, doesn't make any sense.
I need to be able to see like your workflow. I mean, I'd have to see the whole thing. Like what settings you use in TimeBolt.
The TimeBolt, because I emailed you and I put it back to default, like the 0.01 at the beginning and 0.15.
And you did you I apologize, man. Did you start a ticket?
Yeah, I think it is pretty hard to explain though over email because it's weird. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If it's exporting as a video, you'd think it wouldn't mess anything up.
Are you Ethan Shura?
I don't think so.
You just emailed me?
Yeah, because on the first one, right as I got it, I got like an email, saying like, oh, thanks for getting it. And then if you have any questions, email this. And I just emailed that one. I'll probably pull up the email. I mean,
I know it sucks, okay? But when it comes to these things, the only way that we can really help out is because there's a number of different areas that something could go wrong. Is if you go to TimeBolt and then submit a support ticket, because even now I can't see your screen, I can't see anything, right?
Yeah.
Or when you jump on, if you show up next Thursday, just be ready to share your screen and we can go through it. Because what I need to be able to see is when you just drop the file in the TimeBolt, right, and show me what settings and that you're using, and that the timeline is all there, and then what workflow you use to bring it into Premiere, or is it Premiere?
I use either DaVinci or Olive Editor. It's another one. It just depends on which one I ended up putting it into.
XML?
But the same thing happens with both.
Have you tried XML?
I have not. I could try that, and that might switch it.
I understand what you're like. I personally, if I'm going to be doing any work inside of NLE, like Resolve, I would just do the XML option.
What does the XML do? Like, what's the benefit over just exporting as MP4 or whatever? Because
actually, like to maintain lossless quality when you're exporting, especially for like broadcasts or something like that, for when you're gaming channels, it just maintains lossless quality. It's those guys have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on their encoding, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a fast way to, and it also has drag handle control as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I was asking because I'm curious.
Check that out. So you kind of after you're going to add the raw source file. You add your source file into the media pool. Make sure your frames per second is the same, which it should be because you're recording in OBS, and then you import timeline. See over here how this is going. The XML. You unclick this one box right here, all these instructions, hit OK, hit resolve, hit OK. And now basically all of your tracks, look, all your tracks are separated and delineated. Okay. You can go in and, so are you doing gaming? Do you work with any like the speed up options or anything like that? Fast forward silences, do you know about those things?
I saw those, like you can switch it to, instead of cutting it out, it speeds it up. I'm not using that. I'm just
okay. Yeah. That's an option for you is doing any type of speed ramp. If you've got like when a process matters, but it's less important that you hear about it. It's more important that you just kind of see the sequential steps.
Yeah. Is there a way you can choose specific times to do that, or do you have to do the whole thing?
No, you can definitely choose specific times. For example, I can hit fast forward silences. Okay. And this is automatically set to a default of like 90 seconds. Okay. It's not just going to automatically do all these,
Yeah.
Like if you didn't want to have any silent, you could do something like 3 seconds, right? And then if that's the case, you would see all these turn to orange.
Yeah.
When on the default, when you open this up, it'll be 90 seconds. This is for more like shorter cuts. Like if you're like having a cursor or something and you're like talking in between, you don't lose the cursor movements. You can do something like less than 2 seconds speed up, but anything more than 2 seconds, between 2 and 90 seconds cut, right? But what's nice about gaming, you can do like this will slow it down 0.5. This will increase it up to 4x speed, right? And what you can do is you can either keep the game audio or you can mute it as well. So that now, if you're going through and you've got some gameplay that you think looks cool and you just want to speed it up and you're not talking, or even if you are talking, you can just say mute me. See how you click this? That's the only time you click above the bar above the playhead. It turns it to orange. Anything in orange is going to be sped up by 2x.
Okay, that's cool.
And your speed up your fast forward silences. And did you see about punch and any, you can highlight any of that? I'm sorry, I don't have my gaming thing is, I don't have my gaming one in here.
That's okay.
Kind of highlight different parts of the screen as well. And all that also exports in XML.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to try the XML. If it doesn't work, what would be the best way to like show you what's happening, just to make it as easy as possible for you?
Yeah. This is the process to do it in DaVinci Resolve, but you can see XML into Resolve speed.
It's like Sony cameras mostly, and I think Panasonic too.
Then I go to. You see what I dropped in the original source file, right? Which is exactly the one that's recorded on OBS.
All right.
And then after I got my XML file from TimeBolt, cut it up.
See, this is one thing that we have to make sure. You have to put your original source clip in here. I think people just try and put their XML. Then you're going to go to File Timeline. You're going to find your XML file and click Automatically Import Source Clips in a Media Pool. And then I'm going to change this to Resolve. Hey, could you hold on 1 second? Quincy, can you mute your?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, not that.
Sorry. Now we're going to check the timeline. As you can see, it looks like everything is fixed. The cuts are where they're supposed to be.
Verändern willst. Diese Tipps werden dir helfen, den richtigen Weg zu finden. Nummer 1.
You can see that's you got all your cuts, and it just kind of gives you more delineation if you want to add some effects, and it actually has full drag handle control as well. There's just, if you're going to do it in an LE, I mean, and you're also only rendering once, right?
Yeah.
So XML is instant, right?
Well, there's no way that should mess up, you would think.
No way. Now,
I mean, you wouldn't think it would mess up now, but you wouldn't think.
if you would, please try it. And if you just record. Did you see how I did that screen recorder in TimeBolt? Just record your process. I don't, you don't have a fucking, big YouTuber, right? Like just record your process. That way, if something goes wrong, you can then say, boom, I've already got it recorded. And I send it to them. And I may end up asking for the source file, but that's where if you end up with recordings, if you could just throw them into like a Google Drive or something like that, and then you just open up a support ticket on TimeBolt, and it has two slots for your screen recording and then the raw file, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm surprised that there was any sync issues at all. Even well, let me know, Ethan, if that works for you, and hopefully I was able to answer your questions. Do you have anything else that I could help with?
I do not. Thank you.
You bet. Well, it's nice talking with you. Thanks for choosing TimeBolt, and we're here if you need anything. And that's it for our live office hours on November 10th, 2022 with Doug. Please don't forget to hit the like, click the notification bell, and we'll let you know when we're going live next time. And I'm out of time. Thank you very much.